How we doing today, Green Thumbs? My name is Brandon, and we are back at it today. Gonna get our green thumbs a little brown. Today I bring to you a unique Zig Zag plant. The other common name is gonna be Jaccobs Ladder or the Devil's Backbone. This plant's got some pretty unique features, mostly the zigzag branching on it, and then the variegated leaves. So stay tuned and I will show you the two ways that you can propagate this. First, we're going to need some supplies. So I got a little paper plate to take the cuttings on. I've got a pruners in order to take the cuttings and something to sterilize my pruners. So I'm going to go ahead and do that first. Always a good idea to sterilize when you're propagating or cutting into any tissue. So we'll close that up. And then something else that's not necessary, but something that I like to use is aloe. It's got a lot of vitamins and stuff like that, but it actually has salicylic acid, I do believe, which is a rooting hormone. So I'm going to take a leaf of that. I'm going to cut her right there. And I'm just going to lay that down on my piece of paper because that is sterile as well. And I might even just keep this by, give her a quick another sterile. Alright, so the common way when you're looking up on ways to propagate the Devil's Backbone, Jaccobs Ladder, or the Zig Zag plant, all of them the same thing. I would try pronouncing the scientific name, but I know I would mess it up. But the most common way is going to be taking a 4 or 5 inch cutting. So you're going to want to clean up some of the leaves. And you can see, so this one's got a lot of white milk, and when you chop off the leaves, you'll see that. I know that can be somewhat irritating to skin, so sometimes they recommend wearing gloves. But I'm going to go ahead and just cut that at one of the areas. And then I'm going to take my aloe and I'm going to stick it right in the aloe. Right into the meat of the aloe, just like that. If it dries out a little bit, you can just squeeze some of that juice up. If it falls apart, no big deal. But that is what we're looking for. And then we need this to dry a little bit. Because of that milky substance, we want that to dry. The aloe will help dry that out, but that will also give it some rooting hormone. So that is one way to propagate Devil's Backbone, is through cuttings. You would let this dry out, the sap dry out, and then after an hour or two, you could dip it into rooting hormone. I would still dip it into aloe again before putting it into either sand, perlite, or some sort of rooting plug. So I'm going to set those aside for now. And now what we've all been waiting for. So I'm going to try to actually divide this one by just splitting it up, and we'll see what happens here. So first we gotta unpot it, and if you're in my handy dandy easy swap pots, it's simply unsnapping all 4 sides, pulling the root ball down, and then there's my root ball. So now that I've got the root ball out of the pot, I'm gonna set it back over the pot, and I'm just gonna take my thumbs, and I'm just gonna, right here where this is all coming out into separate sections, I'm gonna take it and slowly so now I gotta just work this one away. And there is gonna be one. And it looks like I might get this into 3 with a little bit of coaxing. All right, so there is going to be the other one, and then there is the third one. So I just transplanted this one plant into 3 backbone plants, devil's backbone. When I first got them, they were roughly like this. I probably had them for all summer long. It's honestly become one of my favorite just because of the uniqueness of the plants. They do like high humidity. They like their feet wet but not soaking wet, which is why they love the fabric pots. They do really well. But now let's just plant these up real quick. Into the new pot, place it down. There is one. They will need a little watering. Two. And I'm going to take this out and I'm going to button this thing back up and reuse it. And then all I'll do is add a little bit of dry amendments into here and the plant will be just fine. Well, it actually looks like I'm going to need some more potting soil, so I'll do that at a different time. But there you have it, folks. You actually can divide devil's backbone, Jaccobs Ladder, the Zig Zag Plant, whatever you wish to call it. We'll be back when the sap dries so I can show you how to finish the propagating through the cuttings method. So stay tuned. Welcome back. So we are ready to take the cuttings. Right here I've got some rapid rooters. They go by some other names, but these are basically little coco core plugs for taking cuttings or starting seeds. The other thing that you can use is just taking a little 2" by 2" or say 4" by 4" cup or planter, and then filling that up with like 50-50 vermiculite and perlite and getting it really wet, or even just straight sand and making sure it's real damp sand, and then sticking these cuttings into that. And then you're just going to want to keep some sort of dome or humidity, so either spraying them all the time or keeping a dome on them, and then lightly watering them so that they never actually dry out until the roots form. So I'm going to show you what I do with the rapid rooters. I'm going to break my aloe down to the next most solid area. So some people also like to soak these into water that's already been treated with rooting hormone. I just go ahead and put the aloe right on the plug itself, and then we just take our thing and shove it in to the bottom. Do that one more time. And then one more time. All right, so there you have it, folks. I showed you the 2 ways, cuttings and then actually just dividing the roots. I would say for ease, obviously just dividing the roots is the easiest, but this is going to be a fun little experiment, and hopefully we at least get one to survive. Although I do have confidence that all 3 will survive, I know that this is a pretty easy house plant to take care of. Mostly just because it's winter time, they are going to need a little bit of misting just to have that encouragement and humidity to get the roots established. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you all learned something. If you got something you'd like to see, please let us know in the comments section or reach out to us through email. We look forward to seeing you guys next week. Stay tuned. Peace.